Questions to the Prime Minister. Anne McEachin.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I know the whole House will wish to join me in offering our deepest condolences to the families and friends of all those killed in yesterday's Airbus crash in France. It is heartbreaking to hear about the school children, the babies, the families whose lives have been brought to an end. As the Foreign Secretary has said, it's very likely that there were some British nationals involved. At this stage, 3 British nationals have been identified as having been on the flight. The Foreign Office is working urgently to establish whether any further British nationals were among those on board. We're providing consular assistance and will give further information as it becomes available. Our ambassador to France is at the crash site today. I spoke to Chancellor Merkel and Prime Minister Rajoy last night and made clear that the UK is ready to offer any assistance we can, and I expect to speak to President Hollande later today. Mr. Speaker, this morning I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, and in addition to my duties in this House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Anne McEachin.
Mr. Speaker, may I join the Prime Minister in expressing sympathies to all families affected by yesterday's tragedy. In 2014, the number of people working on zero-hour contracts increased by 19%. Unsecured borrowing rose by 9%, and the percentage living in relative poverty was at the highest level since 2001. Would the Prime Minister agree that under his watch, the future of our young people is only getting darker?
What has happened under my watch is there are 174,000 more people employed in Scotland. 0 hours contracts account for 1 in 50 jobs, and it is this government that has outlawed exclusivity in 0 hours contracts after 13 years of inaction from the party opposite. In her own constituency, the claimant count has fallen by 32% since the election. That is evidence that our economic plan is working in Scotland, as throughout the rest of the United Kingdom.
Rory Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. One of the most disturbing scandals has been the infection of thousands of people across the nation with HIV and hepatitis C through contaminated blood. Today, Lord Penrose publishes a report which follows nearly 25 years of campaigning by members on both sides of this House to address this scandal. Could the Prime Minister, as the last act of his government, ensure a full apology, transparent publication, and above all, proper compensation for the families terribly affected by this scandal?
I think my honourable friend is absolutely right to raise this with the Penrose report published today, and I can do all of the 3 things that he asked for. I know that many members on all sides of this House have raised the question of infected blood. I've spoken about how constituents have been to my surgeries. While it will be for the next government to take account of these findings, it is right that we use this moment to recognise the pain and the suffering experienced by people as a result of this tragedy. It is difficult to imagine the feelings of unfairness that people must feel at being infected with something like hepatitis C or HIV as a result of a totally unrelated treatment within the NHS. And to each and every one of those people, I would like to say sorry on behalf of the government for something that should not have happened. No amount of money can ever fully make up for what did happen, but it's vital we move as soon as possible to improve the way that payments are made to those infected by this blood. I can confirm today the government will provide up to £25 million in 2015-16 to support any transitional arrangements to a better payment system. And I commit that if I'm Prime Minister in May, we will respond to the findings of this report as a matter of priority. Finally, Mr. Speaker, I know that Lord Penrose was unable to present the findings of his report today because of illness, and I'm sure the whole House would want to send him our very best wishes.
Ed Miliband.
Mr. Speaker, let me first say that I fully associate myself with the remarks the Prime Minister just made about the victims of infected blood, and we undertake today to carry these recommendations forward as well. I also join the Prime Minister in offering my condolences to those families who lost loved ones in the devastating plane crash yesterday, especially remembering the 3 British victims. Our thoughts are with all of the victims, their families and friends. Mr. Speaker, on Monday, the Prime Minister announced his retirement plans. And he said And he said it was because he believed in giving straight answers to straight questions. Now, after 5 years of Prime Minister's questions, that was music to my ears, Mr. Speaker. So here's a straight question. Will he now rule out a rise in VAT?
In 43 days' time, I plan to arrange his retirement, Mr. Speaker. But he's right. He's right. Straight answers deserve straight questions, and the answer's yes.
Well, let me say to him, nobody is going to believe it. Nobody is going to believe it. Nobody is going to believe it because of his extreme spending plans, because his numbers don't add up, and because he promised it last time and he broke his promise. Now, if he's in the mood for straight answers, let's try him on another one. Can he confirm that the spending cut...
Order! The Leader of the Opposition will be heard. If we overrun, so be it. Doesn't matter to me. The Right Honourable Gentleman will be heard, and the Prime Minister will be heard, and every other member will be heard. The Leader of the Opposition.
Can he confirm that the spending cuts he plans in the next 3 years will be greater even than anything seen in the last 5?
Well, he's wrong about that, but look, straight answer from me, straight question to him. I have ruled out VAT. Will he rule out national insurance contributions? Yes or no?
He'll have plenty of time. He'll have plenty of time to ask questions after May the 7th. And I'm afraid to say, his own Office of Budget Responsibility says a much sharper squeeze on real spending than anything seen over the past 5 years. Next question, and this should be an easier one. 5 years ago, he promised to cut net migration to the tens of thousands. Straight answer to a straight question. Is that a broken promise? Yes or no?
Let me give him a second chance. I answered a very simple question about VAT. I ruled out an increase. Let me ask him again. Will he rule out an increase in national insurance contributions? We all know this is Labour's jobs tax. This is their tax of choice. This is what they clobber working people, families, enterprises with. So let me ask him again. Straight question, straight answer. Will you rule it out?
Mr. Speaker, there's only one person who's going to raise taxes on ordinary families, and that's him. And he's going to cut the National Health Service. And he didn't answer the question. And let's ask him a question about the NHS. 5 years ago, he promised no top-down reorganisation of the NHS. Now, this is an easy one. Can he confirm that's a broken promise, yes or no?
I'll tell you what's happening in the NHS. 9,000 more doctors, 7,000 more nurses, and 20,000 more bureaucrats. But we've heard it now. A clear promise on VAT from this side of the House. No answer on national insurance from that side of the House. And it goes to a bigger point, Mr. Speaker. He's had 5 years to come up with an economic plan. He's had 5 years to work out some policies for the future of this country. He's had 5 years to demonstrate some leadership, and he's failed on every count.
Nobody believes his promises on VAT. Nobody believes his promises on the National Health Service because he's broken his promises in this Parliament. Now let's try him on one more. 3 years ago, he cut the top rate of income tax. Can he rule out, under a Tory government, a further cut in the top rate of income tax?
The richest in this country are paying more tax under this government than they paid under the last government. We have set out our plans for tax cuts. If you're young and you work hard, you'll get an apprenticeship. If you're a family, we'll take you out of tax until you earn £12,500. I don't want to see middle-income families drawn into the top rate of tax. We've made our promises. Now let him make a promise. Will he increase national insurance, yes or no?
Mr. Speaker, nobody believes his promises. He's had 5 years of failing working families. And worse to come, more spending cuts, more tax cuts for the richest, more betrayal. This has been a government of the few, for the few. It's time for a better plan. It's time for a Labour government.
Well, you've seen it all. Absolutely no ability to answer a question. This is a country where unemployment is falling, the economy is growing, the deficit's coming down. In our NHS, the operations are going up, more good school places for our children, living standards rising, inflation at zero, record numbers in work. All of this could be put at risk by Labour. That is the choice in 43 days' time. Competence and a long-term plan that's delivering instead of the chaos of economic crisis from Labour.
Simon Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker.